Git and GitHub. Fine. So here, developer develop the code in their local workspace. Workspace is a local folder. So workspace is the local folder, right? In the local folder, whatever the changes are happening, those will not be tracked, right? So this is, we can say git local. So developer A and developer B, both are working on their git local. Once development is completed, they push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub. So this is GitHub. Remote repo or GitHub. Fine. So now let's try to understand Git workflow. Git workflow. Right? Yeah. So normally developers, what they will do when they join into the project. So first they need to create one workspace. So local workspace, they need to create one workspace. What is workspace and anyone? What is workspace anyone? Which is our local laptop or desktop, right? So developers, when they join into the project, they need to create one workspace, which is a local system. In the local system, they create one folder, which is a normal folder. So this is, we can say, local workspace. Local workspace, right? So this is normal folder. In this normal folder, if you add any files, if you modify any files, if you change any files, if you remove any files, those changes will not be tracked because this is a normal folder. This is normal folder. In the normal folder, so whatever the changes you're doing, the changes will not be tracked, right? So that is why what we have to do, we need to convert this local folder into, we need to initialize as a local repository. This normal folder, local workspace, we need to initialize as a local repository, right? So for which the command here is git init is the command to initialize empty git repository. Okay. Now go back to the local system. Now what I will do, I create one folder here. So which is a local workspace, which is a normal folder. And so in this normal folder, if you add any files, if you modify any files, if you delete any files, those changes will not be tracked, right? So that is why what we have to do, we need to initialize as a local repository. So for which what we will do, open this folder. So inside of this folder, right click here, right click here. Now go to show more options. Click on git bash here. Git bash here. Now git bash is open, right? So this is git bash. Fine. So here what we have to do, we need to initialize as local repository, right? Yeah. Now command here is git init is the command. Look at here. Now it is initialized empty git repository, right? So once we initialized, one .git file will be created instead of the local workspace. One .git file is created here. Look at here, everyone. So this is the .git file. Now it is successfully initialized as a local repository. So after that, immediately what we have to do, we need to create one user. So we need to create one user. in the local repository. So why we require user? For tracking who did changes, when did changes, what purpose did changes, for tracking, right? So Git is a repository tool or version control tool, right? Repository is nothing but where we store our data. Version control is nothing but track the changes over time, right? If you want to track the changes, we need to create a user. How can we get the user? So once we initialize, immediately we need to create a user. How can we create? Command here is git config space hyphen hyphen global space user dot name space within the double quotes. We need to give the username, whatever the username you want to give, right? Same way, we need to give the email ID also. Git config space hyphen hyphen global user dot email. Within the double quotes, we need to give the email also, right? Fine. Yeah. So user dot name, user dot email, we need to create. So if you have already user, right? So that will be override, right? Only one time only. User creation only one time. Don't need to create again and again. One workspace, one user only, one developer only, one system, one developer only, right? Again and again, if you try to create one more user, so old user will be gone, new user will be created. Okay. So here, if you want to check the previous user, for example, already user is there. If you want to check that user, command here is git config space hyphen hyphen list to check the previous user. Okay, so these are the comments which are very, very important. But in real-time projects, we don't need to create the user. In real-time projects, we don't need to create the user because we use the LDAP user. In real-time projects, we use the LDAP users. What is LDAP and anyone? LDAP and anyone, what is LDAP? Which is domain user and alias account. Lightweight directory access protocol. LDAP and ఏంటండి? Lightweight directory access protocol user, right? So in real-time projects, we always use the LDAP user. Fine. Yeah. So once we get the user, now development will be started. Okay. So here, I already having a user here. If I want to check the user, git config space hyphen hyphen list is the command. Look at here. So user already there. Look at here, everyone. RAM user already there, right? Now I want to create a one more user ID. What will happen? This user will be gone. New user will be available. Okay. Now I want to create a one more user here. So for which command here is git config space hyphen hyphen global user dot name. Within the double quotes, we can give the username. I want to give Rama user, right? Enter. Now the user is created. Now I want to create email ID also. Email. Give the email ID. Enter. So email also created here. Now if you check here, git config space hyphen hyphen list, look at here. Now it is showing updated user and updated user, latest user, Rama user. Okay, fine. Now what I will do. So here, after that development should be started, Andy. Ela start just the developers. Look at here. vi file.txt. So they create a file. In that file, they start the development. Okay. So vi create a file. So once they develop, once they add some code, right? So they check here git status is the command to check the git status. So it will show you, file will show you in red color. The file will show you in red color, means still development is going on, right? Yeah, now look at here. Go back to the Git bash here. Now clear the screen. Vi file.txt insert hi. This is my first program. It is not a program, Andy, just for easy understanding. I'm just giving some text here. So in real-time projects, developers, they develop the code. Okay. Now escape, save and quit. Escape, shift colon WQ, save and quit. Now the file is saved. So developer added some code under here. Okay. Just imagine that. Developer developed the code, right? They save the, developer save the file. Now if you check here Git status, the file is showing red color, means still development is going on, right? Yeah. So once development is completed, the code should be moved to the staging area, which is Git workflow. And don't confuse here. Developers, what they will do, they move this code to staging area. So this is a staging area, or index area. Staging area or index area. So how can we move the code to staging area or index area? Command here is git add space file name or dot and dot. So dot means all the files. If you want to move the file to staging area, you can give the file name. Or else if you want to move all the files, you can use the dot. Okay. Now look at here. What I will do, git add file name, which is file.txt, to move the file to staging area. So once the file is moved to staging area, now if you check here git status, the file will show you in green color. Green color. So means development is completed. Now it is ready to commit. Development is completed here. Now it is ready to commit. Okay. Now let's go back to the console here. Now what I will do. So now this file is showing red color, means still development is going on, right? Once the development is completed, what we have to do? We need to we need to move the code to staging area. So what is staging area? What is the importance of staging area? I'll explain, wait for a few minutes only. Okay. So staging area is the Git workflow only. Don't confuse. Okay. Now I want to move this code to staging area, for which command here is git add space file name file.txt. Enter. So now the file is moved to staging area. Now if you check here git status, look at here. The file is showing green color. Means development is completed. Now it is ready to commit. Ready to commit. What is commit? I'll show you. Okay. So once you move the code to staging area, so if you want to unstage, if you want to get back this code again, so this is the command to unstage. Look at here. Git space rm space hyphen cached space file name to unstage. So currently the code is in staging area. Now I want to unstage. I want to get back to the local workspace. For which command here is this one. Okay. Git rm hyphen cached file name. Look at here. So enter here. So file name, you can give the file name here. File name is file.txt. Enter. Now it is back to local workspace. Now if you check here, git status will show you red color and look at here. Now it is back to local workspace, right? So you can check the file and you can edit something here, vi file.txt. Now you can add something, insert. something you can add here. Save and quit. Now I want to move this file to, again, staging area. Git add space file name, or we can give the dot also. Dot is same అవుతుంది. Dot is same అవుతుంది. Yeah. Enter. So now it is moved to, look at here. Once we give the dot, it will move to staging area. Now, git status. Look at here. Now it is showing. Look at here, everyone. So it is showing, yeah, so green color, right? Green color means, yeah, development is completed. Now it is ready to commit, right? Yeah. So what is commit? Let's try to understand. So once the code is moved to staging area, now we need to commit the code. So commit is nothing but it is a commit area, or we can say git local, and we can say commit area or git local. So this is commit area. Or git local, commit area or git local, right? So how can we commit the code? Let me explain. So the code is in staging area, right? Now I want to commit. For which command area is git commit -m is the option. Now commit message. So we need to give the meaningful message here. We need to give the meaningful message, right? So the code should be committed, commit area, right? Which is the code should be committed here. So we need to give the meaningful message here, right? So here, any message, meaningful message. Once we commit the code, now if you check here, git log, it will show you the, yeah, commit ID and who did changes, when did changes, what purpose did changes. From here, tracking will be started. From here, tracking will be started. Okay. So now, currently our code is in commit area, sorry, staging area, right? Now I want to commit this. Now if you check git status, the file is showing green color, means it is in staging area. Now I want to commit. How can we commit? Command here is git commit -m commit message. We can give something meaningful message. First program. Okay, now the code is committed. Once we commit the code, now if you check here, git status, sorry, not git status, git log. Check the git log. Look at here. Now this is the commit ID. This is the commit ID. Who did changes? When did changes? What purpose did changes? Who did changes? Rama did changes. When did changes? So Tuesday, February 17th, 21:34 did some changes. What purpose did changes? Due to something like first program. He's saying something like first program, right? So from here, tracking will be started. Once we commit the code, tracking will be started. Now, look at here. So this is local workspace, staging area, commit area, which is git local. Commit area is the git local. So this is the git local and commit area. So before this git local, we have two stages, which are, first one is, yeah, this is a staging area. This is a local workspace. This is workspace, local workspace. So this is staging area. Right? Yeah, in the local workspace, yeah, he initialized as a local repository and started development. Once development is completed, the code is moved to staging area. So from here, so he committed the code. Committed means local Git. The code is here. The code is here, right? So next what we can do? Next ఏం చేయాలండి? The code should be moved to ఎక్కడ మూవ్ చేయాలండి? What we can do here? We can push the code to remote repository, which is GitHub, right? So this is GitHub. And the code should be moved to GitHub. Fine. Yeah. Now, any questions so far? Any questions? Anyone? Anyone having any questions? You can ask me now. Anyone having any questions so far? Questions are not అడగండి. You can ask your questions. Is it clear to you, everyone? Everyone, is it clear to you?
Yes.
Fine. Now, let me recap. And one more time, I just
Can
want
you
to.
use same username and email ID in different pieces, sir?
ఏంటండి username? You can give అండి, nothing to worry.
Username and email ID can you use in different systems?
Yeah, you can give nothing to worry.
Okay,
You can
sir.
give. So valid email not required. You can give any email. Okay. Yeah, I just
Okay,
want
sir.
to repeat this one more time up to here. Okay. Now look at it. I just want to close this. So now I want to delete this folder. Yeah. So first of all, when developer join into the project, they need to create one folder, normal folder, which is, we can say, local workspace, right? So open this workspace, developer open this workspace, will open the workspace, and you need to right click here inside of the folder and click on git bash here. So yeah, you need to initialize as a empty git repository. You need to initialize as a empty git repository, right? First you need to initialize. So for which command here is git init. Now it is initialized. Once initialized, you need to add a user. To add the user, git config hyphen global user dot name. Within the double quotes, you can give the user. Rama user already gave, right? Now I want to give Ram user. Now user is created. Now email ID also need to create something, any email ID. Yeah. So now if you check here, git config space hyphen list. Look at here. Yeah. Username Ram, email ID. Okay. So now you need to start the development. Vi git.txt. Insert hi. This is my application development. Escape, save and quit, right? So now if you check here, git status, the file is showing a red color, means still development is going on, right? Once the development is completed, next what we can do? We need to move the code to staging area. How can we move? The command here is git add space dot, enter. So now the code is moved to staging area. Now if you check here, git status, the file is showing green color. So green color means still development is completed. Now the code is moved to staging area. Now it is ready to commit, right? So now how can we commit this? Yeah. So once you add into staging area, once you move the code to staging area, now if you want to unstage, this is the command. If you want to unstage, this is the command, right? So here we need to give git rm space hyphen hyphen cached space file name git.txt. Look at here. Now it is unstaged. Now if you check here git status, the file is showing red color. Means still development is going on. Now we can edit something, we can add something here. So in this file, we can add something. Now what we can do? Escape, save and quit. Now git, yeah, now if you check here git status, the file is showing red color. Now we need to add into the staging. Git add space dot. Now we can check git status. The file is showing green color. Now we need to commit this code. How can we commit the code? Git commit hyphen m commit message. So something like new development. Right now it is committed. So once you commit the code, now if you check here git log, look at here. Who did changes? When did changes? What purpose did changes? Ram did changes. Yeah. So timestamp you can check here. 9:42 it did some changes. So he's saying something like new development, right? So this is the way developer start the development. Okay. Now the code is here. So currently the code is in git local commit area, right? So now this code should be moved to the remote repository. So we need to move this code to GitHub. How can we push the code to GitHub? So before going to push the code to GitHub, very first thing we need to create one GitHub account. How can we create the GitHub account? Let's try to understand. So go to browser and create one GitHub account. So URL here is github.com. github.com is the URL. So which is free only. No need to pay anything. Free account. Okay. So github.com. Look at here. Enter. So this is my GitHub account only. Okay. So here I have so many repositories. Very first thing we need to create one repository here. Okay. So these are all repositories since long. These are all repositories. Go down, go down. If you check here, very long back, I created this account. So many batches and so many batches repositories. But చూడండి, look at here. So this is very old repository. 2016. 2016 I created this repository in 2016. This is in 2018. 2018. Like this. Look at here. So many batches since long. Here, 38 batch. 15th batch. Batch number 3. In 2018. 18 or 17 by the time. Batch number 5. So many batches like this. Okay. Yeah. How to create GitHub account? Let's try to understand first. Okay. I just want to sign out here first. Click on sign out. Now, first time when you give github.com, it will show you like this. First time, github.com. Now we need to click on sign up first. Click on sign up. Look at here. Now you can give the email ID and password, username, country, right? So here you can give the email preferences. Click on create account, right? Or else you can use the Google account also. Select Google account also, right? Yeah, it is very easier and like a Gmail account. How can we create the Gmail account? So the same way we can create the account here, right? Yeah. So once we create the account, once the account is created, click on sign in. Click on sign in. Now give the email ID and password. Click on sign in. So here also it will ask you two-factor authentication and we need to add into Google Authenticator. Now I'm able to log in. Okay. Yeah. So now very first thing, once you log in into the server, once you log in into the GitHub account, very first thing we need to create one repository. So these are all repositories, right? So we need to create one repository. How can we create the repository? So click on new, right? Or else go to top right corner. There is a plus symbol. Look at here. Plus symbol. Click on this. Now click on new repository. Click on this. Now give the repository name here. DevSecOps 9 p.m. batch. DevSecOps 105 is done for easy understanding. 105. Sorry, 107 is one. 107 batch. Okay. So repository name. This is the repository name. Okay. So description not required. Description not required. Go down here. Now choose visibility. Look at here. So public only we need to choose Andy. Don't select private. So private is chargeable, costing. Private is secure. In real-time projects, we always use the private repositories. So you can select public only. Public is free of cost. Private is not free, right? Select public only. So don't need to change anything here. Just go and click on create repository. Now the repository is created. Look at here, everyone. This is the repository, our repository, right? Once we create the repository, so we need to establish the connection between Git local and GitHub. This connection we need to establish first. So local Git to GitHub, we need to establish the connection. How can we establish the connection here? How can we establish the connection here? Command here is git remote add origin. So origin is the variable. Origin is the variable. So what is variable, anyone? What is variable, anyone? Variable is the value holder, value store, right? So git remote add origin. Origin is the standard name. In place of origin, you can give your name also, but that is not recommended way. In real-time projects, we always use the standard names. Okay. Git remote add origin space remote repository URL. Go back to the GitHub account. So this is the remote repository URL, Andy. Look at here, everyone. This is the remote repository URL. Just copy here, click here, copied. Now what we can do, here we need to paste. We need to execute here, paste. Look at here. So this is the command to establish the connection between Git local and remote repository, GitHub. Okay. So after that, once the connection is established, now if you check here Git remote, if you check here Git remote, it will show you origin. So origin is a variable. So once you execute this command, what will happen? So this URL will be stored in the origin, in the variable, right? Git remote. And when you execute this, it will show you origin. Origin is the variable, right? So after that, what we can do, next command, git push -u origin to master. So master is the master branch. Okay, git push -u origin to master. So master is the master branch. Fine. So these are the commands we need to execute, right? Yeah. Now let's go back to the console here. Now the code is here. The currently, yeah, there is a file in our local git. Git.txt file is available. So this file I want to push to the GitHub account, for which what we can do, first we need to establish the connection between Git and GitHub. So for which command here is git remote add origin space remote repository URL. Just go and copy this URL. This URL you can copy and paste here. Look at here. Git remote add origin remote repository URL. Enter. Now the connection is established. Connection is established. Once the connection is established, now if you check here remote, git remote, it is showing origin. Origin is the variable అండి. ఈ origin లో this URL is stored. This URL stored in the origin. Okay. Now connection is established now. Connection is established between Git and GitHub. Now I want to push this code to remote repository. So whatever the file is available in our local, that I want to move, I want to push this code to GitHub. How can we push? Command here is git push -u is a option. Git push -u. Command ఏంటండి? Origin to master. So what is master? Master is the master branch. Master is the master branch. Okay. So git push -u origin to master. Enter. Now the code is pushing. Now the code is pushed to GitHub. Now go back to GitHub. Just refresh here. Refresh here. Look at here. The file is pushed to GitHub. 10 minutes ago, we developed this. Right? In this file, click on this. Look at here. Hi, this is my application development. So same code is available in Git local also. 3 dots. 3 dots. Now if you check here, ls cat git.txt. Look at here. Hi, this is my application development, 3 dots. Clear and everyone? Is it clear to you? Any questions here, anyone? This is very, very important activity. So Git workflow is very, very important. Okay. So make sure everyone practice Andy. So coming 3 to 4 days, we will work on Git. So you need to practice this. If you practice this, you will understand next sessions, further sessions. Okay. So this workflow is very, very important. How to establish the connection? How can we push the code? You need to practice first. Right? So tomorrow we'll discuss about branching strategies. So before going to branching, first you need to understand this Git workflow. So every development team, every developer should follow the same workflow అండి. ఏ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అనేది ఇదే వర్క్ఫ్లో ఉంటుంది. సో బట్ దిస్ ఈస్ కంప్లీట్లీ డెవలపర్ యాక్టివిటీ. బట్ వీ నీడ్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ ద ప్రాసెస్. యూ విల్ గెట్ ద ఇంటర్వ్యూ క్వశ్చన్స్. Right? Yeah. So make sure everyone practice up to here. So before going to next concept, which is branching strategies. Any questions and anyone? Any confusions, anyone? Is it clear to you? Concept is clear, right, everyone? Fine. Yeah. So we can stop here. So make sure everyone practice, Andy. Before going to the next concept, you need to practice. Okay. So you can practice while establishing the connection or anything while practicing. If you are facing any issues, take the screenshot and post into the group. I'll give you guidance if you are facing any issues. Okay. Fine. So we can stop here. Yeah. Make sure everyone practice. Tomorrow we'll discuss about branching strategies. Fine. Yeah. Thank you all.